And today we're the Leicester locals, and this is the top 8. Top 8? You are exactly 8th actually, and this is Lewis. And he was playing MONARCH FTK. And yeah, what do you say? What do you want to say about to everybody who you played against? Do you want to apologise? All right.
I already apologised after the
every game. All right. How many of them were salty?
All but one.
That's a surprise. One person wasn't salty. Okay. Are you ready to get the deck profile started? Then?
Yeah, let's get started.
Okay, let's do it in order.
Okay then, well we'll start off with the kill condition first. So, pretty standard for an FTK deck these days. Life Equalizer, Magical Explosion.
Yeah.
Obviously got to get the difference between the life points to at least 8,000, which is done through a combination of the chicken game engine.
Yeah.
And
upstarts.
3 upstarts.
Yep. So only one of each, because I think explosion and upstarts, and explosion is limited to 1. So of course, and you resolve the chain by flipping that first and flipping that first, flipping that second. So yeah.
Going forward, expecting judging by the OCG ban list, a lot of people seem to think that Life Equalizer is going to get hit.
Yeah.
But as it stands, the deck doesn't actually need Life Equalizer to work.
Yeah.
In this current build, assuming you can reach the end of your deck, if you replace the Life Equalizer with Blasting the Ruins, you'll still do a total of 9,600 damage by replacing this with Blasting the Ruins.
Blasting the Ruins deals 3,000, doesn't it, on its own?
Yeah, 3,000 as long as you have 30 or more cards in the graveyard.
Well, they're on 11k usually at the end of the turn, so they go to 8k. So
you can deal 9,600, but it will require a couple of card changes, just in regards to maybe changing upstarts, or just generally seeing what. But in the future, if it does get hit, with the release of Card of Demise in April, we can just replace 1 or 2 upstarts for them anyway.
Yeah.
And then we'll still have enough.
Okay, so just one of each, because you don't want to draw these too early and then you'll lose if that happens. So
yeah, drawing them early is terrible. They don't.
How many times did you brick with the in the regionals out of the 7 rounds?
Across 7 rounds, bricked game 1 once, bricked game 3 twice.
So only 3
times.
out
of for most game 2s, I did side it into the MONARCH plan, which we'll talk about later.
Okay.
But generally speaking, the deck's very consistent, but there's a lot of small decision trees that can improve your chances as you're going through the combo.
Okay, so let's go and start the main part of the deck, which is the spells that you just keep on drawing with.
Okay. Onto the
triple chicken game and
triple chicken game, triple pseudo space, and triple terraforming.
Yep.
Pseudo space, in my opinion, isn't very good. It's a very poor draw early. It's not live until you've at least seen 1 chicken game, which can be said about a lot of the cards in the draw engine, but it's just a necessary evil with the card pool we got at the minute.
Yeah.
Mandatory 3 terraforming just to make sure we can hit the chicken games on time.
Yep.
Also, if we hit our library at some point, it's worth saving them just for the extra counters if we can.
Yeah. When you brick, did you draw this too early? Is that
yeah, pretty much every hand I bricked was either overloaded with monsters and no way to get rid of them, or I drew too many pseudo spaces before.
No chicken games in there. Alright, with terraforming, I'm assuming you usually search chicken game with it.
Always search chicken game unless all 3 copies have been gone through.
Okay.
Except in the rare occasion that you need, there's some hands where you can end up with, you'll already have a chicken game and a terraforming, but you'll be like clogged on pantheisms, or you'll already have gone through your Erebus and you just need a way to get it. So sometimes it's worth terraforming for the MONARCH field spell, which is
right there. Let's see what you play with the MONARCH bit. So that's 1 target for the terraforming.
Yeah, just an additional target in case we need to make our pantheism live. There are some games where you'll draw it and you won't have the pantheism and it'll feel like a bad choice, but the amount of games that it's helped far outweighs the amount where it would otherwise get in the way.
Alright, so just the one domain is because of the emergency reasons, because of the pantheism.
Yeah, it's essentially, there's 4 copies of it in the deck to help make the pantheisms live thanks to terraforming.
Okay, now today, what's the other one of cards that you're playing? Let's see. Yeah, I can see pantheism's already there.
Okay, on to the next part.
Domain, obviously.
So, pretty standard MONARCH draw engine.
So triple pantheism and triple tenacity.
Yep.
Do you think this engine will get hit?
Honestly, pantheism is a bit too strong in regards to draw cards that they've printed for archetypes in the past. The draw 2 effect I think is fine. It's something that a lot of archetypes have had before, but I'm still not sure that it'll get to stay around with the graveyard effect, because as it stands, since Tenacity is a card, it's assuming that they haven't already played a Tenacity this turn, it's very unlikely that they are not going to get the card they want.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can just reveal 3 Tenacity to then.
Such another Pantheism, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Most of the time.
There is some utility, especially in draws where you draw Erebus early. You can just pick. If you get Erebus in the grave early enough, you can just turn on your Pantheism's graveyard effect early on
by pitching
it for Erebus's ability.
Yep.
I think in future builds, I would probably move to playing maybe 1 or 2 more Erebus, just because it helps you fix your hand later in the combos, and sometimes it just gives you an earlier +1 if you've got an opening hand that, say, like, trade in Erebus Pantheism.
Yeah. And you can play Allure as well, can't you?
Yes, if we move to a high number of dark targets, we can definitely play Allure, but as it stands, we've gone with 3 Eth or 1 Erebus. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yep.
Okay.
So there's the Monarch spell engine, which you play.
Onto the pretty generic spells, minus.
So 1 duality, 1 hand destruction, 2 cards from the sky, and 2 trade in, 2 into the void, 3 up, 3 into the void, 3 upstart, 3 trade in. I mean,
everything is pretty standard based on what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
I have tested a few engines, such as going with Erebus, Allure, but generally speaking, cards from the sky is stronger than the options we've got, because its downsides completely negligible in this build.
And it's not 1.
And it's not at 1.
Yeah.
that's the main strength.
Yeah.
Talking about hand destruction, very important card. Although it's an inherent neg 1, it has, especially in games where you lose the dice roll, a main mistake that a lot of players make is that they will try to, especially since the popularity of Solemn Strike, they'll go first, set up their board, and then in an attempt to get out of range of Life Equalizer, they'll attempt to Solemn Strike their own activated effect in your turn.
Yeah.
But due to turn player priority, as was seen in Prague, if you chain hand destruction, they just can't chain onto their own effect. So it's something that you always save until the last possible moment.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, it's terrible if you go in second.
Yeah. Because they usually have less than 2 cards in hand and you can't activate it. It's just a dead card.
Yeah. There's not many games where you go second and still get to activate it, but the option is always there.
Okay. Now 2 cards from the sky, you said it's better than Allure, and one duality because it's once per turn, so that's all you need really.
Only need 1. The main use I find for duality is when you get towards the end of your deck, you need to draw a very specific sequence of cards so that you can draw to 0 cards in deck without going over.
Yeah.
So obviously we've got a good mix of draw 1s and draw 2s, but sometimes you just need to be able to find a specific card just to make sure that you can hit it.
Yep.
Or even sometimes you won't be able to draw it, so you'll just need to get to as low a number of cards in deck as possible and find your last piece.
Yep, hopefully have the last few cards in the deck.
Yep, so we've got a 3 trade in. We do have our targets here. Total of 5 for trading.
3 Ether,
1 Erebus,
1 Blue Eyes Toon Dragon.
Yep.
You can play the Golem, can't you?
You can play Gear Golem. I just played Blue Eyes because I prefer it. Obviously the 3 toon tables to go with the Blue Eyes.
So you search table, you search table,
just your 3 tables into your Blue Eyes, just to help thin.
Yeah.
On the note of Toon Blue Eyes, I've seen alternate options regarding playing some combination of is it Thunder Dragon, the level 5 that you pitch to add 2 more copies?
Yeah, and it's level 5 light.
Yeah, level 5 light. But
yeah.
I haven't found a way to essentially make use of the extra copies. It's a nice +1, but if I was to move away from this engine, I would probably look into playing an additional hand destruction and 3 copies of Thunder Dragon.
Yeah, okay.
Alright. Okay.
And then one more card that's...
Yep.
I don't like it in this deck, but you play it, so how well did it do today? yesterday. On Saturday, I mean.
It did very well, especially due to the release of Premium Gold 3. A lot of players were expecting a higher number of Cosmo than there actually were, so a lot of players had moved Effect Vader out of the main, which gave this deck a lot better chance.
Yeah, people moved on to Maxi and stuff because that got reprinted, didn't it? So.
Yeah, obviously Maxi's more available now. Obviously Ghost Ogres had quite a significant hit in price, so a lot of people were expecting things that generally just, the options that people were maining as tech choices just don't hit this deck at all. Obviously with the rise of BA and Phantom Knight, there's going to be a lot more Twin Twisters around, so this deck is going to suffer going second a lot.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, it does pretty well. If you can reach the end of your deck, you're usually going to have enough cards in hand that you'll be able to set 5 and at the very least to be able to take the chance that they don't hit the combo. Although I had one game where an opponent had oversided into game 3 when I was on the play, and just because they decided so much to try and halt the combo, they weren't able to apply fresh effectively, so I was able to go through 3/4 of my deck without playing a single into the void.
Alright.
Then I was able to set 2 to bait his back row, which was a Twin Twister as expected.
And they were both into the void,
They were both into the void, and then go into my next turn to secure the combo. It's not something that will come up often, but there are situations where it is quite possible just to be able to sometimes wait a turn, but it's very unlikely. I wouldn't recommend it at all.
Alright.
And at the very least, if you think you're doing bad, you can always set Royal Magical Library. It's got a nice 2k defense.
2k defense.
Level 4.
Yeah. Alright, so that's the main deck. I'm guessing you have no extra deck.
No extra deck.
Don't need it. And let's see what the side deck is.
There is a reason for the no extra deck, mainly due to the sideboard.
Yeah. So 3 upstarts, 3 into the void, 3 blah blah blah. All the draw engines. And now to the 15 card side deck that you
Okay, on to the pretty standard smoke.
The Monarchs.
So, pretty standard. Just enough cards to let us play a Monarch plan game 2.
Okay, so 3 Edea, 2 Eidos, 2 over Everbus, 1 Mega Caius, 1 Kuras for the E for target.
Yep.
2 Prime, 2 Stormforth, 1 Return, and 1 more Domain, so you have 2 in the deck. How often do you side these guys in?
Generally speaking, no one will let you. Well, I did have one game where they allowed me to go first game 2.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but generally speaking, if you're playing against this deck, you can never afford to let them go first,
So
just in case they
So you
keep
always
the combo
predict
in.
him to go second, yeah?
I always predict to go second, but there are like some players, based on how you speak to them during side decking, will generally show you. You can generally pick up on things that how prepared for this deck they are.
Yeah.
And I actually had a fun game where my opponent, this was the one that chose to let me go first, had assumed I was siding into Monarchs, and had sided in Mask of Restricts, rather than going for the combo. But luckily I'd stuck with the combo not knowing I was going first. And it worked out, but there are some tricky things with transformative side decks, as people probably know. Spell lineup's pretty simple. We just need a second copy of Domain. It's basically everything the side deck plan hinges on. Just slow your opponents down enough that, due to the fact that we're only running a smaller number of Monarch spells and traps, our Ethers and Erebuses only have a limited number of activations, so we need our deck to be as lean and quick at finishing the game as possible. So we have 1 copy of Return, just to make sure that once we hit our first Monarch, we can just keep them going. As our tech 2 Stormforth, because we just need an out to things we can't target. Simple as that. We still have our standard Squire engine, 3 EDR, 2 EDOS, just to, generally speaking.
Yeah, a lot of people play 3 EDOS, but since you need some room, I think 2 is enough as well. So
2 is enough. I was originally going to play 3, but I felt that having Mega Caius was more important, especially going into a weekend where I expected BA and Phantom Knight to be a thing.
How many games did you win with Mega Caius?
Every single game Mega Caius hit the table, he won the game that turn.
Great. Play Mega Caius.
Like, against Phantom Knight BA, you take out all their break swords, and all of a sudden, that engine just doesn't
it doesn't work anymore, and it's GG, pretty much.
Erebus is Erebus. We all know what he does. Yeah. He's amazing.
Yeah.
If anything, he's probably the strongest card in the deck.
Yeah.
The only thing that holds him back is that Allur's not at 3.
Yeah. It's in OCG. It's at 3.
Yeah. I honestly think that going forward, this deck could still exist in the OCG, even without Life Equalizer.
We'll see.
But we'll see.
The one Karaz.
And then one Karaz just as a target for Ether.
And 2 Prime Monarchs, because I think that's enough as well.
Yeah, 2's enough. We don't expect the game to go long, so we don't need a third.
So what do you usually side out for the 15 cards if you're going to smoke screen?
So, if we assume that we're going to play the Monarchs, let me just move these to one side.
I'm guessing you're keeping some consistency cards like trade-ins and something like that.
We generally keep the consistency
make the deck a bit
cards.
consistent. I don't know.
So the first 4 cards to come out.
Toon table.
Okay, the thing with these
4
is
cards already.
We normally take them out, but in the BA matchup, if they don't have a good enough start, they generally can't get over just a 3k vanilla, and it doesn't take because it's a special summon.
Yeah.
They generally can't deal with that and an Erebus in the same turn.
So you think keeping the Blue Eyes Toon Dragons worth against BA?
I'm not sure. It's nice to have an extra 3k. Like, sometimes the deck just needs an extra beater just to put on the table, and it doesn't use your normal summon, which is nice.
Yeah.
But in most matchups, I won't leave it in.
Okay. So take out these 4 most of the time.
Yeah, take out these 4.
That's 4 cards.
Royal Magical Library generally always goes out.
Yeah.
Just because we're no longer playing the combo. Copy of Hand Destruction.
Yeah, because it's bad going second, I'm guessing.
It's bad going second.
Yeah.
2 cards from the sky. We really don't want to banish a copy of either from our deck.
Yeah.
3 into the void.
Yeah.
Just because we can't risk discarding our hand.
So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 4 more cards that you think you should take.
2 copies of Pseudo Space. We keep 1 copy in just because we're tight on space, but...
And you still, I'm guessing you're going to keep the 3 chicken games in for consistency.
We keep the 3 chicken game and the 3 terraforming.
Yeah.
Although, as something that came up in a couple of games, a lot of people in game 2, because obviously you've only got 15 cards, they usually focus on shutting down your field spell.
Oh yeah.
Especially Draco Pals.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just worth keep using a pseudo space to copy domain, just so that you can get your level reduction and keep applying pressure.
Oh yeah.
And then final 2 cuts, Life Equalizer, the 2 combo cards.
Yeah. So that's the 15 cards they usually take out if you don't know what to take out. But sometimes keep this against BA apparently. Use Toon Golem.
We would, but we left it at home.
Alright, so that's the Monarch FTK Fairy Aether whatever build. Any last words before we finish the video, Lewis?
We need April. We need Card of Demise.
Card of Demise.
That's all we need.
That's in the Millennium Pack, right?
Yes. Which I believe is 2nd or 3rd week of April, from what I remember.
Alright.
This deck gets a lot stronger then.
Yeah. Unless if it gets hit.
Even if this gets hit, we're fine.
Alright. Okay.
But we need this. We can't live without this.
Okay. That's great. Alright, cheers.